Thank you for joining me. My name is Heather Rodriguez. I'm a natural fertility specialist, and my team and I help couples who are trying to get pregnant, overcome fertility issues, or prepare for medical fertility treatments. We work with couples all over the world through my website, naturalfertilityinfo.com and thenaturalfertilityshop.com. So today's scope was as a request from one of our viewers, and I thought it was such a great topic. It's all about the 2-week wait and what to do to optimize the 2-week wait. So for those of you who don't know what the 2-week wait is, that's after ovulation until the time you can take a pregnancy test. And for many people, that can be a very stressful time, or it can be a time where you are wondering, what can I do to optimize my chances of fertilization and implantation to occur? So I welcome you all. We're going to go ahead and get started. So the 2-week wait, how to support it, what you need to avoid, what you can do to optimize that period of time for you. Great. Yeah, so the 2-week wait, it's like so long, right? Right, guys? It's like this period of time, you know you've ovulated. Yay! So ovulation has occurred, and then there's this period of time where you're waiting until you can do a pregnancy test. And during that time, you can kind of go nuts because you feel twinges, you feel nauseous, you feel all kinds of things, and you're wondering, is that a sign of pregnancy? Am I pregnant? I feel a twinge. I feel, oh, I have a headache. Could that mean I'm pregnant? Or, oh, I'm spotting. Or, I mean, it's like a million things can happen during that time, and it can make you go crazy. So what I want to share with you are some tips to help optimize the 2-week wait, because this is half of your cycle for the month, and talk about some things you can do and some things you should actually avoid during that time. So the 2-week wait is the period of time from ovulation until you can take a pregnancy test. So it's generally day, we'll say 14 to 28 of a cycle. Everybody's cycle is different. So, you don't have to go by that textbook, but that's just to give you an idea of what the 2-week wait is. So during this period of time, what has happened is you've ovulated, and the sperm is now on its way swimming to meet up with the egg up through the fallopian tubes. The egg's been released, and then the egg will be fertilized. This is what you need to visualize and focus on. The egg's being fertilized, and then will travel back down through the fallopian tubes through its long, long journey. It is amazing. I feel it's like 6 days. It's a very long journey back to the uterus, where it will then find the spot where it would like to burrow and implant, and then the embryo begins to develop and grow, and then you are pregnant. So that's kind of what's happening internally during the 2-week wait. On top of all the hormonal changes that are occurring, your progesterone is increasing. There's a lot of different things that are happening during that time. So it's a very exciting time, but it's like 2 weeks. That is really long. I'm kind of an impatient person, so yeah, 2 weeks is really long. So anyway, so here's what you can focus on during that time. You know that you've ovulated, you optimized everything you can ahead of time and prepared for healthy conception and healthy fertility. So you've done that already. You're eating a healthy fertility diet, you're using herbs, whatever you need to be using for your own personal fertility journey. You're taking good care of yourself, okay? So that's kind of a given. So during the 2-week wait, there's a couple of things that you can focus on. The first is supporting a healthy uterine lining. So throughout the month, you are building uterine lining. So your period ends, you've shed last month's lining, and you now are beginning to rebuild the lining. The estrogen in your system, that's one of the main jobs of estrogen, is to promote growth. So that is begin to grow your uterine lining. During the 2-week wait, progesterone now takes over and is helping to preserve the lining while the lining is also still growing and developing. So what you can do during your 2-week wait is you can focus on doing things that are going to help with maintaining a healthy uterine lining and helping that lining to continue to develop and be healthy. So some things you can do for that is focusing. You're already doing a fertility diet, so these are kind of above that, above the given. First thing to do is to make sure you're eating plenty of fiber. That helps with estrogen metabolism. You're going to want to focus on folate-rich foods. Those are going to be foods that, or some people call it folic acid. When it's found in food, it's folate. That's going to help prevent spina bifida, which is an unfortunately common birth defect that can be avoided by making sure you have folate at this time of your cycle. You need to have it in your system before you can even detect a pregnancy test. So make sure you're eating dark leafy green vegetables and lots of nuts and seeds. Also making sure that you're using superfoods such as maca, goji berries, and coconut oil. Those are all going to help support hormonal balance, which is important during this time because you want to make sure you're producing enough progesterone. Also, one of the biggest things you can do is eating a protein-rich diet. Protein is what helps to maintain and build the uterine lining. The uterine lining is made up of amino acids and proteins. So make sure you're eating plenty of plenty of protein sources. You can get that from animal proteins, or you can get that from vegetarian sources. The highest sources of vegetarian protein would be that are not soy, because soy is probably the highest, are going to be other beans such as lentils are very high. And you can also do hemp seeds. Hemp seeds are very high in protein, as well as healthy fats. So hemp seeds would be like the perfect food for this period of time. And then there's another one, which is pineapple. Have you guys heard of eating pineapple during the 2-week wait? I think that's something that is pretty popular in a lot of forums. And it's something that at first I was like, okay, eating pineapple during the 2-week wait. I thought there's a lot of fertility myths out there. I thought it fell into that group. But after kind of thinking about it and realizing, all right, well, what's pineapple rich in? Pineapple's rich in bromelain, which is an enzyme that is anti-inflammatory. It helps to increase circulation, which is, we're always talking about increasing circulation to the reproductive system, right? Yeah. So it's like, maybe there's something to this. So how you would use pineapple during this time is you're actually going to have to eat, you can eat the whole thing, but you need to make sure you're eating the core in your bite. So how you would use it is right after ovulation, you're going to eat 1/5 of a fresh pineapple core. You can eat the fruit around it, that's perfectly fine, but it's all about the core. That is the area that is richest in the enzyme bromelain. You're going to eat 1/5 of that each day from ovulation forward for 5 days. So you just break down that pineapple and eat it. So that's a way you can get fresh bromelain from the pineapple. You do not want to cook it, and canned pineapple will not work because there's not, that enzyme is not really high in a canned pineapple, because that's actually cooked pineapple. So that's my tip for using pineapple on how to do that. The core is a little bit harder, so you're just going to have to chew it. But that's, so those are some tips for helping to increase uterine lining health. The next is going to be to support and calm the uterus. So the uterus at this time, you want it to be a calm environment. You don't want it to be agitated when the embryo begins to implant, or the fertilized egg or the zygote begins to implant. You want it to be a very calm and comforting place so that it's not agitated. A couple ways to do that is, one, doing anti-inflammatory foods, which we just talked about, pineapple. There's some other things in your diet you can use for that. But you need to focus on toning the uterine muscles, relaxing the uterine muscles, relaxing the nervous system, and decreasing inflammation. So one of the best ways to do that is to use herbs. There's 4 herbs that are fantastic for uterine support, and they're safe during pregnancy and during this early phase of pregnancy. The first is going to be cramp bark, then black haw, partridge, and oat tops. So all of these herbs are very tonifying and supportive and relaxing to the uterus as well as to the nervous system. So, during that 2-week wait, a lot of times you can kind of be a little bit stressed out. So it's good to use these 4 herbs. It's going to help both the uterus and your nervous system. I have a product called Utericalm that includes these herbs because no one is making anything for this. So I started making this for my clients, and it works fantastic. The herbs are cramp bark, black haw, partridge berry, and oat tops, or milky oats. And so those are combined together in a liquid herbal extract, and you can take it. I actually suggest for people to take it ongoingly for 3 months prior to conceiving, and then through their first trimester with their health practitioner's approval. It's just a very calming blend that's specific to the uterus. It's fantastic. We have a lot of clients who are preparing for IVF that use it as well with the approval of their doctor and their RE. So that's something that can be calming and helping with implantation. So then, now we're going to talk about what to avoid during the 2-week wait. Fortunately, the good news is that the embryo and the pregnancy at this point are not going to be affected much by things that you are doing to yourself. So, there's a lot of times people don't know that they're pregnant. It's early pregnancy and they went out drinking, or they went out partying, or, while that's not ideal, a lot of what you are consuming, what's in your system, actually will not get to the baby yet. Because one, the fertilized egg is still traveling through the fallopian tube for half the time of the 2-week wait. And two, the placenta and everything has still not completely formed and is not completely plugged into your system. So you don't need to freak out if you did something that you think, oh no, is this going to hurt my baby? I didn't know I was pregnant. Or most of the time it's going to be a non-issue. So just kind of remember that so you don't get too stressed out and too freaked out. But of course, take care of yourself. But I just wanted to let you know that because a lot of people don't realize that. So things to avoid. So these are basically things that we would actually suggest for you to do while you're trying to conceive, but you would put on hold or pause during the 2-week wait. So self-fertility massage, fantastic for increasing circulation, fantastic for helping to prepare ahead of time. But once you've ovulated and you're actively trying to conceive, we would suggest to not do self-fertility massage during the 2-week wait. The reason is we are wanting to keep the uterus calm, and we're not wanting to do way too much movement there and kind of move things around. So it's just better to just kind of take a break during that time. That's why preparation is so key. My camera's bouncing around. Sorry. There we go. That's why preparation is so key, because you can do all of these things ahead of time and get the benefits, and then you're ready to go for it. The other is castor oil packs. I would not suggest castor oil packs during the 2-week wait because of heat. I would not put heating packs or anything like that on the lower abdomen during that time that are hot. Warmth is great for during that time. But castor oil is also detoxifying. So we're not going to cleanse. We're not going to do the fertility cleanse. We're not going to do castor oil packs during that time because it is a time for rest and a time for implantation to occur. And we don't want to be using herbs and things that are too cleansing or that aren't appropriate necessarily for pregnancy. Most herbs can actually be used during the 2-week wait. Almost every fertility type herb can continue to be used during that time. You would just discontinue it once you find out you're pregnant. Once you get that positive pregnancy test, just discontinue the herbs that you're using. There are some herbs that you might want to slowly come off of, such as Vitex. We have more information on how to do that and what herbs at naturalfertilityinfo.com. It's a bigger topic than I can cover in this one, but you can look there and it's got details for each herb that you might be using. And then the last thing is, like I suggested before about cleansing, this would not be a time to do a fertility cleanse. So to sum it up, there are a couple of things you can do. You're going to support uterine lining and uterine health during that time with diet, fiber, folate-rich foods, fertility superfoods, and trying some pineapple. You also want to calm and support the uterus using herbs such as cramp bark, black hop, partridge berry, and oat tops. And then you also want to avoid certain therapies while trying to conceive during that 2-week wait, such as self-fertility massage, castor oil packs, or anything that is going to be too moving and stimulating at that time. And then most herbs you can actually use. So try not to get too obsessive during the 2-week wait. I know that's like, it's hard. So some suggestions for the mental health, for your mental health during the 2-week wait, is to maybe go on a little trip, go somewhere, go on a staycation, go on a little adventure, start a new hobby, do something to occupy your mind. Get into football. There's tons of football on TV during that time. You can watch, like 6 football games. Just find something to occupy your mind. You can also maybe begin a mind-body program if you're not using one yet. Circle and Bloom is a fantastic one. You can go to circlebloomcd.com. Their programs are great for that. You can also begin learning meditation and practicing meditation. So those are all suggestions during that time. And I thank you for joining today's class. I hope you found it helpful.